5 ways to stay in the US permanently. In this video, I will only focus on 5 ways. Okay, Bijoux.ngwanda here, immigration lawyer in the DC metropolitan area. If you're new to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. If you're not new, welcome back. Thank you for subscribing, and please don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. If you enjoy those type of content, go ahead and like, share, and don't forget to comment below. Let's get right into it. 5 ways. The first one, asylum. This is the common one, but let me clarify something. Asylum, it's a favor, okay? It's not something that they have to give to you. It's a favor based on treaties and based on the availability in the country, okay? So asylum, what are the requirements? We know there are a lot of requirements that need to be met in order for you to apply for asylum, or in order for you to be successful in your asylum case. First thing first, you must be physically present in the United States and apply for asylum within 1 year of your physical presence, unless an exception applies. Exception can be changes in your country of origin or extraordinary circumstances happening to you beyond your control that did not permit you to apply within the 1 year time frame. Okay, some of those reasons could be serious illness of you or an immediate relative, or just that mental really and emotional problems, okay, that couldn't help you to apply, or that could actually, that those events prevented you, really they couldn't really help you to apply within that 1 year time frame, or just that you were into a lawful status until something just changed and then you find yourself in that situation and now you want to claim asylum. But remember, asylum is based on a well-founded fear of persecution, okay? The story must be supported with evidence, and you have to be able to tell the story straightforward in order for you to avoid that your case be referred to an immigration judge. We have talked about it a lot and a lot. Really, if you want to know more about asylum, you can either contact me by calling my office 202-751-2180, or you can email me as well, but consultation fees apply as usual, the nature of the business. Okay, let's move on to the second way. What is the second way? The second way is employment. Okay, we are going to divide those into employment: permanent employment and temporary employment that could lead to a permanent employment. Okay, let's start with permanent employment. Those are permanent workers. We have 5 categories: EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, EB5. EB1 is the first preference. EB2 is the second preference. EB3, third preference. EB4, fourth preference. EB5, fifth preference. EB1, that's where it is reserved for people with extraordinary ability in science, art, education, business, or athletics, outstanding professors or researchers, and multinational executives and managers. Okay, and this we have already elaborated more on extraordinary ability and how you can self-petition. Just go ahead and refer back to my previous videos. And this one do not require a labor certification. You really can self-petition, provided that you meet all those requirements. Okay, and when it doesn't require a labor certification, it's really good, because then the employment, really you don't have to have a job offer right away. You can just go with your ability and prove it, your extraordinary ability. Okay, then we have the EB2 category, that it is reserved for people holding advanced degrees or person with exceptional ability in the art, science, or business. Remember here they're talking about exceptional, but the EB1 they're talking about extraordinary, meaning that the standard is very high for the there's a higher standard for the EB1 category. But when you go to the EB2, the standard become a little bit balanced, and then does not may require labor certification in EB2, but you can waive it provided that you ask for national interest waiver, really proving to the government that the job that you do, it's going to be in the best interest of the government to waive that labor certification requirement. And that labor certification requirement is really hard because some employers are not willing to do it because they have to really go ahead and prove that they actually advertised for the job and they couldn't find a U.S. or a lawful permanent resident employee, and they're going to be paying prevailing wages, and they have to be able to show it, prove it, in order for the Department of Labor to accept that labor certification. That's why a lot of employers are not willing to do it. So then we have the EB3, third preferences, that's for professional skilled workers and other workers. Still need labor certification. And then we have the fourth preference, that for special immigrant, religious workers. We've talked about it a lot lately. And then retired employees of international organization. And that does not need a labor certification, but remember with those ones, you still have to have an employer willing to sign the petition for you, okay? And then we have EB5, which it's a you can do it yourself, self-petitioning, but that's for investor or business people with a lot of money. Really the minimum is $900,000. Okay, does not need labor certification, just provided that you can actually create jobs in the US, and at least 10 employees you must hire in your company, the company that you are coming to invest in, or the one that you are creating. Okay, so then we go to the third way. What is the third way? The third way is family-based. I am going to reiterate on family-based because there's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to children over the age of 21 or married children over the age of 21. Okay, let's go with family. Family, when we talk about family, the way it works, it's by preferences as well. We have immediate family member, which they call immediate relative, first preference, and then we have second preference or third preference for just a relative, not immediate one. Immediate relative, parent of U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident, children of U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident, spouses of U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident. Okay, but when it comes to children, when we talk about children in the context of immigration, children must be not married and under the age of 21 in order to fall into that first category, the first preference, immediate relative. Okay, when the child has aged out, there are a lot of things that will happen. Delay in the process. I've talked about children aging out for the purpose of immigration. Please go ahead and refer to that video. But today's video, I'm really going to focus on unmarried children of unmarried sons or daughters of U.S. citizen or lawful permanent residents. Okay, how long does it take? It takes a long time. Okay, for those one, it takes at least between 9 to 10 years for the visa to become available. The reason being is because they do not allocate a lot of visas that for those type of category each year. Okay, they have limited number of visa each year. That's why it takes longer. For example, let's say that you get let's say your parent has sponsored you and you get married, by the time that you're U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident sponsor you, you were not married, right? And then for U.S. citizen, really parent, it can take at least minimum 7 years to sponsor an adult child. But then let's say within that 7 years, the child get married, then the child drop down to the F3 category, then it becomes 10 years, okay? Really takes a long time. But don't get discouraged, because the reason that a lot of people get discouraged because they're only thinking about themselves. But let's say you're unmarried and you have kids. Remember that by the time your visa becomes available, then your children could benefit from it. Let's say that by the time the visa becomes available, you no longer want to be coming to the US. Maybe you just think that it's burdensome for you to come to the US. Then the opportunity is really, it's going to be given to your children. You always have to be thinking about next generation, because sometimes we do things we don't really benefit from it, but the next generation is going to be the one benefiting from it. That's how you have to look at it when you fell into that type of category. Really look at it in a perspective of generation to come, still an investment for your children. Okay, so, and then we have siblings. Again, siblings are not considered immediate relative. For the purpose of immigration, it takes at least 10 years, minimum, maximum 20 years for the visa to become available. And again, if you fell into that category, don't get discouraged, because if you have children, your children will be the one really benefiting from those benefits of immigrating. Maybe they will have the opportunity to go to better schools. Maybe they'll have opportunity to become bigger, or some type of opportunity maybe they didn't have there. I'm not saying that they don't have it. Maybe they didn't have those opportunities back home. They might be able to have those opportunities here. So that's basically how you're supposed to look at it if you want, because if you really just look at the time frame for yourself, then that's so discouraging. You just don't want to do it. But if you're looking for future generation in your line, then it's something to think about and invest in. Okay, and then we have the last one, fourth one. But remember, I said 5, but remember, in employment I already talked about permanent. I'm gonna go back and talk about temporary worker, okay, that can lead to a permanent job. So let's talk about the fourth one, which is lottery. Lottery is the program that allows some people to immigrate in the US. I am the witness of it. I came here by a lottery, by way of lottery. That's just based on luck, really, to be honest. And when the time comes, we will talk about it. Usually start in October. And October 2021, I'll be right here talking about it, okay? So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it, because we'll come back and talk about it. This is another way that you can stay in the US permanently, okay? The fifth way, we go back to employment. Remember that we talked about employment in the context of permanent job, but now we're talking in the context of temporary job that can lead to a permanent job, and that's with E2 visa. I have talked about E2 visa on this channel a little bit more. Please go ahead and refer back to my previous video on E2 visa. But what I'm trying to say here is that when you qualify for the E2 visa, first of all, how do you qualify? You invest a substantial amount of money in an existing or a new business that you actually create. You hold at least 50% of ownership in that business, and you show that you are going to continuously working on that business, okay? Money must be put at risk, not just in a bank account. You have to be able to show that money has been put at risk, it's already working. So that's how you prove the requirements in order for you to get an E2 visa. Suppose those are basics, okay? But suppose that you have already proven those requirements and you get the E2 visa. Remember, some people only get 2 years, but the 2 years can turn into and definitive type of visa, because as long as your business is working, continue to work, then you will still going to have that visa, and your dependent will benefit as well. So that's how you turn that temporary work into a permanent work, and eventually you can become your own sponsor for an H-1B visa, then transition to a green card visa. Okay, that's just how it works. It's a long shot, but it is doable. People have done it before. So that was it for today's topic. I'm trying to make a lot of topics this week. I'll try my best, but remember, we're still busy with actual clients. But if something comes when it comes to immigration bills, again, I'll come back here and inform you as usual. Okay, that was it for today. Bijoux.ngwanda here, immigration lawyer in the DC metropolitan area. And this was U.S. immigration. Until next time, bye-bye.